Hey, this is Rick Kosalich, injury specialist from exercisesforinjuries.com. In today's video, I wanted to go through what to do about elbow pain after your workout. And I'll get Donna Lee to demonstrate the first thing to do. There's 5 things that you can end up doing. And Donna Lee will go through the first one, and then I'll explain it in detail, and then also the other 4 things that you can do after your workout. Good, that ends up being the first thing. So you can end up doing foam rolling. And what we have here is a 3-foot foam roller. Now, if this is what we have in this setting right now, so we're gonna use it, but you don't need a 3-foot foam roller. You can end up using a smaller one, like a 1-foot. And looking at, I'll bring you over here, Donna Lee. So what Donna Lee is doing is she ends up having the foam roller and she's rolling it through her forearm here. Let's get your face that way. Rolling it through her forearm here, and then the other way is she would end up rolling it through here. So she would have it between the wall and rolling it up and down, and then as she had it here, she would end up rolling it this way, back and forth, from the wrist to the elbow. And I'll get you to demonstrate those 2 again. So we're looking with the foam rolling, what we're doing is we're dealing with muscle tension. We're looking to see if there's any overactive bundles of muscle tissue. We're looking to see if there's any trigger points, and we're trying to address those. So when it comes to the forearm, there tends to be a common spot that ends up having all of those things. And we want to end up utilizing the foam roller to help. And the foam roller ends up leading into the next one that you're going to end up doing, the next thing that you can end up doing. The foam roller ends up being great when it comes to a broad self-massage technique. And then with the second one, ends up being a lot more of a specific targeted self-massage technique, and that ends up being utilizing the tennis ball. Now this technically isn't a tennis ball, it's a lacrosse ball, but you can end up utilizing any kind of ball that you end up having. Tennis ball, golf ball, racquetball, squash ball, whatnot. Now, the smaller it is, the more dense it is, the more intense the self-massage will end up being. Now, same thing as you did with the foam rolling, now we can end up being more targeted, and we roll through here. You can end up rolling with your hand through the belly, the outer part of the forearm, and then also through the inside of the forearm. But then also you can end up utilizing the wall again. And Donna Lee will end up demonstrating utilizing the wall. So you've got the wall, the ball, and yourself, and you end up pressing how much you can end up handling when it comes to the self-massage side of things. Now when it comes to the intensity and how hard you're pushing, with this one, I mean, you want it to be uncomfortable, but you don't want it to be screaming pain. Because if you anger the tissue, it's just going to, instead of relaxing, it's going to tighten up and lead to more pain. And this also ends up applying to the one before when it relates to the forearm. You want to feel like you're getting a massage, like a deep massage, but it shouldn't be screaming pain, because once again, you're going to end up angering the tissue, and it's going to lead to pain as opposed to things relaxing and the pain going away. Perfect. That ends up being 2 things that you can end up doing after your workout to help you with your elbow pain, especially if you end up getting elbow pain from your workout. Now the third thing you can end up doing is stretching out that forearm area. And the 2 stretches that I would recommend doing is bringing the palm down and towards yourself. So just get you to face this way. So arm is straight, elbow is straight, you're not hyperextending it too much. You're bending at the wrist, and then you can bring the hand, use the hand a little bit further to pull it back and stretching out that forearm area. And then the second stretch is the exact opposite way. Good. Arms straight, good. Not over bending in the elbow, bringing the hand back, and then you're stretching out the opposite part of that forearm. Now when it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets are just going to go through 1 set. The repetitions, we're going to do 2 on each stretch. I would alternate back and forth. The length of time you're going to hold the stretch for is 20 seconds, and the intensity ends up being a light stretch. We're not trying to rip apart the muscle. We're looking at a light stretch in order to elongate the forearm muscle, and also to kind of decrease tension in that muscle. Okay, so we've gone through 3 things that you can do. Now the 4th thing is to kind of go back in your workout and look at your technique. And an example would be, end up being with the bicep curls, looking at what's happening with your wrists. So a lot of times with bicep curls, people will end up having the wrists curled and then they'll curl up, or at the end of the movement, they will curl at the top. So what that ends up doing is putting more stress on that forearm, and that excess stress and tension on the forearm ends up leading to elbow pain. So what we want to do is keep that wrist neutral throughout the movement, and that ends up applying with any type of curling movement and any type of rowing movement that you end up doing. Really trying to keep the wrists in neutral. A lot of times people don't realize when they end up doing chin-ups or pull-ups that they end up cheating by curling in the wrist, and that ends up having a big effect on the elbow. At the time, it might not feel very much, but a lot of times after the workout, they end up feeling that elbow pain, especially on that medial side or inside of the elbow. So there's 4 things that you can end up doing. And then number 5 ends up being just looking at your workout overall. Look to see if you end up doing excessive rowing or pulling movements, and that could be vertical rowing movement, or it can end up being vertical pulling movement. Both of those end up putting excessive stress on the forearm and the elbow, leading to elbow pain. Other thing would be utilizing the same modality with doing all the exercises. So only barbell work, only dumbbell work, only kettlebell work, and all of those things involve a lot of a power grip, and that power grip ends up activating that forearm for a long period of time and ends up increasing the risk of elbow pain, or leads to more elbow pain irritation. So there you go. That ends up being the 5 things that you can end up doing if you end up having elbow pain after your workout. Now, if you want some of my other best tips and tricks when it relates to elbow pain, then I recommend you click right here. I have a brand new free report called 5 Tricks That Fight Elbow Pain and Tightness. Click right here, let me know where to send that brand new free report, and I'll send you that brand new free report right away. Now, if you're watching this on a mobile device, tablet, or smartphone, head down below into the description and click the first link, which will end up being exercisesforinjuries.com/elbows. Let me know where to send that report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you have a question or comment for me, leave it down below in the comment section. And then lastly, hit subscribe so you'll end up getting future pain relieving videos.